Hey everybody, today is April 1st, 2021, and this is not April Fool's. This is the Marvel Champions card of the day, Rules Goofs Week, and we are going to talk about cards that have common ruling mistakes associated with them. And we've gone through two core set heroes with the card. We talked about Iron Man's Repulsor Blast and Black Panther's Wakanda Forever. And today we're going to talk about Peter Parker / Spider-Man, the Identity card. One of the most basic, simple heroes in the game because they come with the core set, yet one of the ones that has the biggest rules mistakes associated with it. So, let's overview the cards. Both these cards really are all about the Uncle Benjamins, and by that I mean they're all about making income with their abilities. So Peter Parker has the Scientist ability. It's a resource, generate a mental resource, limit once per round. Free money is great, right? Captain America reduces the cost of the first ally that any character plays. Well, Peter can basically do that, but just for himself, so other people can't steal it. He can do it after he flips if someone else has already played an ally. All sorts of great things come because of that. So it generates this resource, which is basically like a pseudo seventh card, right? You have 7 cards worth of resources to spend because of this Scientist ability. Spider-Man, very similar. So Spider Senses is after the villain initiates an attack against you, draw a card. So again, you're getting to a larger hand size in hero form. If you're sitting in hero form and the villain is not stunned, that villain should be attacking you every villain phase. And if they do attack you, you're going to draw 1 card. So you're going to be a 6-card hero, which is pretty crazy in Marvel Champions. So what are some combos that combo with each of these identity sides? Peter Parker needs to really focus on supports, upgrades, and allies. And we'll talk about why in the Rules Goose section. But one of my favorite combos to do with Scientist is to generate a web shooter, right? Just like Peter was making his web shooters in class in the Homecoming movie. Well, very similar situation going on here. He's going to generate his web shooter because he can use that resource in alter ego form. Web shooter becomes a hero resource, so now he can generate a wild 3 times in hero form. Great. This works really well on enhanced reflexes and the enhanced cards too. The enhanced cards kind of are like spending your true cost over time, right? You spend 3 true cost of resources on enhanced reflexes, and then you can spend those 3 resources in later turns to have burstier turns. Well, with Peter's ability, you can spend 2 true costs to generate 3 resources later. So that's like a really great way to build up a ramp so that you always have enough money to play all the cards in hero form. This is really good on expensive cards like Helicarrier and Avengers Mansion, Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and just about every ally ever loves this. It makes it really cheap to play those allies, which I like. And the ally upgrades, things like Inspired on Black Cat and Inspired on Maria Hill. Peter really is an enabler for the leadership aspect. What about Spider-Man? What goes well with Spider-Man? Well, a lot of things. So Spider-Man has that 1 thwart, that 2 attack, and that 3 defense. So he's a little bit lacking in the thwart area, which means he can't flip a ton, which is why he's really good with protection. He also has that 3 defense, just making protection even better. So you can see 4 of the 5 cards that I've displayed here are protection cards. You can pump that defense up to 4. That's going to stop a lot of villain attacks in their tracks. You're going to get the trigger Unflappable a ton when you're using your defense, so then you get attacked by the villain, draw up to 6 cards. Trigger Unflappable, draw up to 7. Now you got 7 cards in hero form. You don't care if you're exhausted, because you can shoot off 2 to 3, swinging web kicks if you've got some resources on the board. That's great. The other thing that really works well is there's no limit on how many times you can draw a card from Spider Sense. You just need to take an attack for each time you're going to draw. So cards like Toe-to-Toe, where the villain has to attack you. Now the villain attacks you and you draw a card. You might have a backflip to negate the attack anyway, and you get to deal 5 damage. Seems really good. Get Behind Me, likewise, you could cancel someone's treachery card. Now you have enhanced spider senses in your hero kit, so maybe you don't need 3 Get Behind Me's and 2 enhanced spider senses, but if you've got 5 cards in your deck that can cancel a treachery, you almost end up with a treachery every other canceler every other turn during the villain phase, which can be really good in multiplayer. And then finally, Bait and Switch. I mean, it's got Spider-Man on the art. There's no reason not to run this in a Spider-Man protection deck. You want that villain to attack you so that you're getting to draw more cards. And thwarting is the thing Spider-Man needs help with the most. And to be able to remove 4 threat from the main scheme on demand is really important for Spider-Man. And then I have this big thing in the corner that says not stunned. You do not want to stun characters when Spider-Man's going to absorb the attack. Maybe in a multiplayer game, you can stun the villain when the other player is getting attacked first, and then you'll get a clear attack from Rhino or Claw, so you can trigger your Spider Sense. And let's go to the Rules Goof section, the highlight of this week, to talk about why. So, Why does Spider-Man not work with Stunned? Well, Stunned is a replacement effect, so the next time Rhino or this character would attack, discard this status card instead. Because of that, the way replacement effects work in Marvel Champions, the villain will never technically initiate an attack against you, so you're not going to get to draw your card. So Spider Senses only goes off if the villain initiates an attack against you or against Spider-Man. So this does not happen if the villain is stunned. This does not happen if the villain is webbed up, or if it's like Norman Osborn, where he has that replacement effect. If he would attack instead, place counters, not going to trigger Spider Senses. It's also not going to happen if you defend for another player, because he's going to initiate that attack against Iron Man, and then Spider-Man can jump in the way, but the initiation has already occurred, so Spider-Man's out of luck. So you want lots of attacks hitting you in the face, not lots of attacks avoided via stun. And then we talked about Peter Parker. There's some rules goofs with him too. I've seen this question asked a lot online, and this is true for all cards that have that resource bold word as an ability. Resources must be generated when a cost is being paid, like immediately when a cost is being played. I want to play an event, I spend those resources, and I generate them right then. That means I can't generate a resource with Scientist, flip to hero form, and then spend that resource. I'm going to have to spend this resource in alter ego form. If there was ever an event that you could spend resources for an event to then flip your character, you'd kind of like almost get the ability to do that, but you'd still have to spend it when you're in alter ego form. So this means no hero events, no hero actions. You can't use this to pay for a lot of the villain attachments and upgrades are hero actions to discard them. You're going to have to spend this in alter ego form. So you're looking for upgrades, supports, and allies that you're allowed to play in alter ego form, most of which are true. There's a few exceptions, like Webbed Up actually says hero form only, so you can't use Scientist to play Webbed Up, even though it's in Spider-Man's kit. And if you look for cards that have just action on them, or alter ego action even better, then you know you can play those cards as Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, I should say. So, that is one of the heroes with one of the coolest abilities on both sides of their card. Yet one of the ones that a lot of people miss those little nuances with replacement effects and with when you can generate your resources. So, hopefully we learned a little bit something on this April Fool's Day about Peter Parker, and we can wrap up with the card that really grinds my gears tomorrow, that the ruling for it is so frustrating. So I'll let you all guess what that card is going to be. Most people who know me probably know what it is and will roll their eyes when I start talking about it, but we're going to do that tomorrow on April 2nd. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day.